In the metals, we have to look at the base metals, so they all go. Gold continued its rally. Base metals fell. Gold was negative on the day, but overall the pattern looks higher, and vice versa is true for the base metals, especially copper, which was down 1% today. Copper looks on track to have its second of the last 3 weeks lower. Now, if you look at a weekly copper chart, it's really 2 weeks higher, 2 weeks lower, but when you look at the weeks that were lower, 1 week started out with a huge gap up and ended up lower on the week, and then this week lower was a much bigger low, down bar, down candle, whichever one you look at, than the prior two up moves were. And the monthly chart looks even worse. We basically have a sideways channel in copper with huge ranges for about the last 4 or 5 months, and this particular month we're on track to erase all of last month's gains, which came off of the positive dinner between President Trump and President Xi Jinping of China, and that has been all but erased as of today. We've got another week of trading, but as I'll mention later, it is holiday markets. Overseas, we saw the People's Bank of China announce some stimulus. They actually announced several policy changes designed to spur the economy. You can see they're getting very nervous about things like a PMI being at 50, lowered consumer confidence, falling consumer prices. So they announced some stimulus, which really should have helped copper. And if you look at it from a perspective of maybe it did help copper, perhaps copper's overall economic view would have had it down 2% or 3% today. Generally in a market like this, we're seeing this in equities as well. When you're seeing copper low like this in a low volume market, the selling is likely moderate, just the buying isn't there. People's Bank of China stimulus should have caused Chinese stocks to rally more than they did, should have caused copper to rally. Neither one actually happened. You could argue that Chinese stocks actually just stopped falling after that stimulus was announced. Same with copper, finishing the day near that down 1% level. And as I mentioned, we're going into holiday markets. Low volume is expected in all the commodity markets. Copper won't be an exception. So when you're looking at the moves we get next week, essentially they're going to be discounted not from a perspective of price, but from a perspective of how much they matter. Having said that, crude oil moves could matter. They could relate to the dollar and it could potentially have some effect on copper that continues, but it's not likely.